super late. For those of you who was waiting on me to get on, I'm so super sorry. Something personal came up, so I had to take care of it, like always. So before we do any drawing, or at least while I do some drawing, we're going to do some reactions. We have 4 reactions. 2 are woke, anti-ish woke stuff, and then the other 2 is just reactions to video games, and that's it. So let's just jump into this now. This is from Clownfish TV. Hold on, let me get this real quick. Okay, there we go. So this is from Clownfish TV. Here, John Deere ditches DEI continues to die across corporate America. So a lot of DEI focused stuff is dying amongst like Microsoft. I did a video on that. That will be coming out soon. But Microsoft, John Deere, and then maybe corporations or whatever the case may be. Now, I don't know if it's going to actually die off, like it's just going to stop, which I doubt. I'm going to do is rebrand it again as best as they could, but we don't know. So they may just totally just forget about it completely, and then we can go back to normalcy, or they're going to rebrand it and bring this back in a couple like months to years, something like that. Because one thing about ideology, it just doesn't die off with itself by just a corporate reason. It usually dies off, and it takes a very long time. Because it's kind of like an infection, zombie infection, if you use me. But anyway, so with that said, let's play this. Hey, Rosalina, what's going on? Okay, so today we're doing 4 reactions, and that's it. 2 of them are anti-woke, and the other 2 are video game related stuff, and that's it. I'm gonna do a little bit more like painting on skin, understand skin, and then around I think 6 or 7 o'clock we'll Zenless Zone Zero. I am fully late for today. How are you doing? How you doing? These drawings? What do you think they are? Yeah. Actually, I should write this. So here we go. Hold on. Skin studies, so people don't get this confused. Like that. I don't know if the coloring here looks. Let me see. What did I come across? Skin studies. Light is coming. I think the light's coming from this way. So the light going this way. So the shadows will be somewhere in this particular places. So let's get rid of that. This looks, the skin looks way too like plain. So we're gonna redo that over again. So we have the base color, which I think is a little bit too pale. So I'm gonna put a little more color in there. Pull it back a little bit, like that. It's a bad thing because a lot of people just are so used on now, so they're gonna freak out when things go the opposite direction. Okay. Okay, like this. Okay, like this. Yeah, that's what's my theory. I think what they're gonna do is just rebrand the term DEI or ESG. They're just going to rebrand it to something else, like the bridge thing. So they're gonna just get to something completely different. I don't think it's gonna die off and go away. It's just gonna sit in quietness, and then it's gonna come back with a vengeance later on. That's what's technically what's gonna happen. The light's coming this way, so I shouldn't put light here. So. Okay. And then we put this here. Put this here. Okay. Okay, like that. Let's change, give it more texture to the skin. Hey, bro. Okay, and then wrap this around here. Like that. Okay. Okay. And then we'll do like this, and then okay, it's looking a little better. I think we need to put a little bit more emphasis here. I think it'll be a little bit darker. So I'm going to grab the color and then pull it down. Like that. And then add some color here. Okay. Actually, I would take... Okay. Hey, randomness, what's going on? Okay. I'm gonna get the... Okay. Shit. Come on. Like that. Okay. Okay, there we go. Nothing much slay. Nice. I had a feeling you were streaming. Well, I stream every day, so... It doesn't look right with the shading. So we need more darkness here. Okay, I'll use a brush then. Okay, I didn't check Discord. Hello again, Dara. Hey, Mr. Thanks. Welcome back. How's it going? Pretty good. You're doing well, Silver. Thank you for asking. Sorry I didn't see it a little bit earlier. It should have been from day one, but they didn't do that because they put some type of weird quota at a certain amount of time, so it made it much more difficult to find them in time because there was probably not enough minorities that fell into that in a certain amount of time. So what they did, they just pretty much hired anyone who just had some inkling of what they were supposed to be doing, but wasn't qualified enough to do it. So that's where this problem is probably coming from. So that's the issue right there. That quota thing was probably, I won't say the main reason, but one of the main reasons. Because when you have the it's like homework, right? When you have a certain, if you're in college and you know, if you take a lot, like say college electives, yeah, like if you take a lot of college electives, right? In college, they tell you don't take so many courses because you burnt out pretty easily. Now, I know comparing college electives and courses to a conglomerate of a corporate business is not the same. But it's not the same. It's not technically the same, but it's just to say. So if you have so many courses, that means you have so many deadlines to follow. And it's going to get to a point where you have to prioritize which deadlines are more important than others, not only just based on their date importance, but also just overall what their majors are for. So the issue is that if you have to get a certain amount of like minorities by like, I don't know, by next month, right? And that's just a small window to get so many that are somewhat qualified in general. What's going to happen? They're going to fudge the numbers and get a bunch of them, and then take people who kind of know what they're doing, and then say, "Look, we got these many minorities. We are diverse, right?" When you have such a small window. Now, I'm not saying the main reason, but that's part of the reasons why might be happening and why they're not profiting from this. This is why this causes too much resentment and problem, and this is why we can come out and say, "Oh, you're just a diversity hire." That's an insult now. Now saying that you have DEI working on your behalf is an insult, because it's like saying, "Oh, you're only here because you're a like say you're like you're only here because you're handicapped," right? That's is. That's why shouldn't have programs like this, because it undermines the idea of what a diversity hire is. It literally just undermines their whole existence. I think if I remember right, Donald Glover said this. I think he said that Tina Fey, I think it was Tina Fey, I think it was Tia Fey from 30 Rock, told him that he was technically a diversity hire, like outright. I think he was on an interview and he was told that. I don't know how true that was, or he was joking, but he seemed like he was dead serious on the response. It turned out in his favor because he was actually talented and funny in the show and all that stuff. I didn't really watch the show, but I can tell that he does a great job. He was on Spider-Man and all that stuff, so he's a good actor to a very high degree. So even though he was considered a diversity hire, he knew what he was doing based on his talents and all that other stuff. So hey, so like that's where the diversity thing is a problem. That's true. Notification is what byte late, and I came to Scotland. But yeah, so that's that issue why DEI I don't like it, because it finds minorities where you're Asian, African American, indigenous individual, Hispanic. It doesn't matter. It just undermines their whole existence. That's why I don't like the idea of DEI ESG. I'm happy as ever. Hey, Deborah. See? See, she just said it. There we go. For those of you who are listening to what I'm saying, okay. For those for those who are for those who are listening to what I'm saying, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, you have to come over here on YouTube. The horizontal version. Yes. Yeah, it's a slur now. When you can go up to someone and say you're a DEI hire, it undermines their whole existence, and I don't like that, because it's an attack on their hard work to a certain extent, because you can't, because we don't have a camera following you around knowing if you're a diversity hire or someone who happens to be diverse, who is non-white, and we don't know if you actually was hired for your merits, or you was hired because they just need to fit a quota and you just happen to fit in a box, whether you're a woman, a person of color, or anything close to the fact. silence is agreements to a certain extent, but the thing is like what makes this hard, and I have to be fair to the people who don't speak up, because you have to look at it in this sense. If you're the only one who speaks up and things go wrong for you, and no one, it's like in movies, you know, in those early 2000 movies when the hero or the main character does something especially, and they stand up for themselves and everyone starts clapping, that one person starts clapping and then everyone starts clapping. That's what happens. But there is those situations in those comedy movies where a person will be clapping for the hero who said something probably funny or probably in something to that extent, and he's just the one clapping, and no anyone stops. I think it was in that one movie called Oh No, Not Another Teenage Movie, if those of you know who I'm talking about. It's a funny movie. It's supposed to make fun of like other movies. It's like parodies, like Scary Movie 3 and 4. Um, the, yeah, and that comes in. So no one wants to be the hero because we all know what happens when you're the nail that sticks up. Because like yeah, see, no, Luck knows what I'm talking about. So like don't be agree with both of you. Yeah, so you have to look at on both ends of the diversity hire and the people who are not speaking up. Because if you speak up, you're the nail that can be hammered. The only time it works is when everyone comes as a collective and have a legitimate reason why this is not working. Because it's like this. Funny is this. If everyone says the slur, no one says anything wrong, right? But if one person says the slur, the DEI slur, like you're a DEI, everyone in the company says that you can't fire everyone, right? It's like I think this was like a school thing. I don't know if they still do this in school, where the class know they don't like the homework or the test, so they'll all fail. So if we all fail as a collective, no one's getting in trouble, right? Now the teacher will look at it as like, man, maybe I fucked up on this lesson. Maybe I didn't do a good job teaching these kids or preparing them for the test, right? But if everyone gets an A, the only thing that tells the teacher is, oh, these kids are just dumb, or they're just lazy, or they did this collectively, because it's really weird for everyone to get an F. Not even someone got a C, a D, a E, or a B. All you got F except once. That's a little suspicious. But if everyone gets an F, it's still suspicious, but it's very odd. So the teacher will look back and reflect and say, okay, maybe I did something wrong here, you know? So that's what that tech happened here. So yeah, so that's pretty much what that truly is. Hold on. The girlfriend is amazing. I got the. Sorry about that. I had to answer that. It was his girlfriend. Okay, so she's being funny. So yeah, that's pretty much what that was. So okay. Yes, I'm still listening. Good. Okay. Just to be clear, for those who are on YouTube Shorts, if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you see I'm just randomly talking out of nowhere, that's not the case. We're doing a reaction while I'm doing these streams. Watch what we're looking at. Just come over here on YouTube, not YouTube Shorts. There are two different things. It's still on YouTube, but just not on YouTube Shorts. You won't be able to hear it or see it for obvious reasons. So come over here on YouTube horizontal. I refer to it because you're watching horizontal like normal, like a regular stream. But if you want to stay over there, that's perfectly fine. You don't have to come over here. I'm just giving you context. So when you hear me just talk out of literally nowhere, out of silence, that's the reason, because I'm listening as I'm watching. And I'm still reading your guys' messages. I have to do two things at once. Well, actually three. So if you want to be part of the conversation, whether you agree or disagree, come over here, because all opinions are welcome. Just be respectful. That's all I'm saying. So, and take it objectively. Don't take it as a personal attack if you find yourself in this particular situation when it comes to DEI, or you work for a company, or a case may be. Oh, let me play this. Sorry. It was unnecessary work, to be honest, but hey, that's just me. I gotta go. Okay, randomness. I got you, bro. That should have been what it's been actually called, but the diversity thing caused too much headache, because everything and anything could be diverse. What they're looking for is non-white men. That's it. That's it. That's ultimately what DEI is. It's an ESG. Well, just DEI specifically. It's mainly not white man, or specifically non-man who is not either or heterosexual. That's literally what they're saying 9 times out of 10. Or non-man in general. This is why I always look at it this way. I always say that if I'm going to hire a plumber, I don't give a shit if he's even a KKK or a racist or anything. If the dude can do his job and fix the pipe that I asked him, I don't give a shit. You know what I'm saying? Money is green and everyone else is different colors, right? So even race has got money, right? So if the plumber I'm asking to do, like, it's worse to have a plumber. Yes, there is a difference. But like, it's like this. It's like this. If I have, I'd rather get a plumber who does his job. I don't care if he's a racist or not, or a conservative, or a Republican, or whatever the fuck, or even a liberal. If he does his job, that's all that matters. I don't care what he does in his free time. I don't care what he posts on social media. I don't care if he hates minorities. I do not care. If he does his job and that's what he came for do, and he did a great job where I don't have to call him again, I win. Matters. Thank you. That's all that matters. But I'd rather hire that person than hire the person who's free love and everything, and okay, we can go with everything and anything, and super liberal on everything, and then when I call them to come to the job, they go by so many thousand different pronouns and this, that, and third, and they have all these different pronouns and this, that, and third, and then when you ask them to do it, you're oppressing them to do their actual fucking job. You know what I'm saying? That's what I said way back a couple days ago. If I was a new CEO or a manager at a game company and I found out my employees are just tweeting all the time, I will fire them, because if they're not tweeting about the game, progress in the game, promoting the game, something about the game we're working on, and your thing is about Trump or is about some political take, something about Sweet Baby Inc., you're fuck fired. I don't give a shit. You've been here for 30 years. If you're not doing your job, get the fuck out. That's the whole point. Do your job. I do not care. I don't care you have 10 children. I don't care you have one leg. I don't care you just whatever. We will never be normal in the first place, but you all right there? What do you mean? But like, the point is, do your job. Came to put your where you came and gave your resume, not what you know. Well, we know what you know based on what the job entails, but that's it. What happened to that? Nope. And I think Kevin O'Leary said it the best when I was watching Decoy Voice. What's going to happen now, because the rise of AI is so much, it's getting more advanced every other month or so, said the activists that you see now who are doing all this bullshit is going to regret everything they've done, because now, because AI exists, they can actually like their face, and they're already doing this in China already. So like it's not like it's not existing. So what they're gonna do is bring this technology more into the forefront in America. And if you've been known to do a lot of arson and a lot of fucking activist shit that doesn't make the company, or your potential employer trying to employ you for their company that does have nothing, the things that you did in the past, has nothing to do with anything that you stand for, that doesn't bring them money but brings them headache, loss, and just a bunch of just fuckery, they can scan your shit. They don't even need your social media, they just need your face. And then they'll just connect your face to your social media by almost instantly. And if they find your face in a video somewhere that it shouldn't be, they'll just won't hire you. They won't even tell you. They'll just fucking not hire you. They'll just say you're not qualified. That's it. Or we don't have enough positions. They'll just say that. They don't have to outright tell you. That's how that works. So most of these activists think they're gonna still have a job after the fact, even when there was being called in no monies, got no money. But most people don't have no money, so that's not technically a thing, unless you're not doing anything insane. If you have childhood issues, that's a personal thing. But if you're doing things that will get you, like, incriminized or be something you shouldn't, then you're screwed. But like this is why they say be careful what you post on the internet, because what you post on the internet will bite you in the ass. It'll eventually bite you in the ass. So that's why you should be very careful, especially if it's like politics. So it is what it is. I don't think normal's overrated. We just shaming. I think shaming it has been lost for a very long time. The lack of shame is a problem, because the less shame, people will do bullshit. It's like, let me use an example. Like, it's like streamers, right? Most kick streamers, well, not all. I'm not gonna say all of them, but so far you've seen, for those who have been on the internet long enough, you've seen that most kick streamers are pretty much degenerates who just does anything just for the sake of money, right? And if they're shame them, they wouldn't do it. Or if these companies were a lot more vigilant on the shaming, or at least doesn't give them somewhat of a platform to grow audience to be so degenerate, most of the time they wouldn't. Like Johnny Salami, I think is his name. At the time when he was attacking Asian people back in their country in Japan, if the shaming was real on his behalf with his audience. Yeah, if the shaming from his audience had more, like if we had more common sense and sense of morals, a lot of people wouldn't have went to go see what Johnny Slimy was doing. They would say, "Dude, you're not. This is not cool." But because there's people who have the love of anarchy, not the fact that they want to hurt. It's just they like the idea of destruction in some form. They will pay him. That's why he was able to Japan to Israel and back and forth, because his followers likes the bullshit. It's not like him, or I don't even think they even want destruction. I don't want like anyone to be hurt. It's just they want to see how much they can push Johnny to go and above to keep doing this. And this is where I call this the jackass syndrome, because with the jackass syndrome, it's like, hello, my name is Johnny Knoxville, and this is this ridiculous thing we're doing. And I said this I think 2 days ago, where it started yard of with a camera. Now it's a franchise, right? That's hard to do, to up yourself many times when it comes to physical pain like that, right? But remember, the internet wasn't, because everyone has a camera, everyone has a phone. That's good. That's good. You should applaud them. Thank you. That's good. That's good. Awesome. But like you should really thank them. Always keep them in your prayers. It's like, how far can I keep going till people get bored? This is why slow and consistent is better than fast and profitable, because fast and profitable usually means some outrageous nonsense. Look at Boot Gang. I think that was his name. Boot Gang. His thing back in I think 2017. I think it was 2017, 2018. He was doing this thing where he will take his camera. I think most know what I'm talking about. I think he's somewhat of a rapper. I think he found God now. I'm not sure yet. He will take people's stuff, grab it, and run away and say Boot Gang over and over again because it was him promoting himself, being a crazy person. And then after him doing it for, I think, 7 to 8 times, I think a little bit more of that, about 10 to 15 times of doing that, he started really gaining more traction of people seeing if he will do it again. He would put himself in major danger. I think there was one when he went up to some gang members, some Hispanic gang members, and went up to their food. Yeah, because they went to, I think he went up to their barbecue. They was having a barbecue, walked up onto their place, and I think he took one of their burgers and ran, or something like that, and they chased him. I don't know if there was real gang members or he paid them to do to chase him, because sometimes these things are pretty much staged, so you can never really tell with these people. But it set a precedent for young people to say, "Ooh, I know how to get famous now. I just fuck with people," right? This is why the Kick streamers, I wouldn't say this is because of Kick, because Kick didn't exist at this, wasn't even known at all. But it's attitudes like that make the long term for other kids to think that's what people want, or what companies want you to do. That degenerate nonsense that can put you at harm's way in others. Right? There was one with a woman, a young girl, who convinced this mentally ill woman to go into the lake, who couldn't swim. I think we all heard that one. I think everyone has heard of that one. I got you. So like, I think she mentally ill woman who, I think she was really old. I think she was like in her 50s. She looked like she was in her 50s. Like late 40s, early 50s, probably 50s, mid 50s. And she went in the water. And the woman didn't know how to swim. So I guess the woman was under the impression that the girl was going to go in there with her, at least hell didn't. So she proved to her whole audience that she was a piece of shit. And not only that she left, they had to send the fire team to go get her. So that's pretty much what that was. So it's that type of attitude that can bring a bad precedent to a website or a certain group of people who think that's okay. Which we need to bring shaming back, because shaming, we have too much of activists making everything normalized. You can't normalize every fucking thing, because when you normalize every fucking thing, there's no right. And when there's no limiter, you bring everything and everything. You bring all the degenerate. You bring all the insane. The probably the mentally unwell, and they feel like because I can't get in trouble now, I can do whatever the fuck I want. That's where that comes from. Else, yes. That's what ultimately what's gonna happen. This is not gonna go away. As much as I would want to go away, it's not gonna go away. What's gonna happen is just gonna rebrand itself. or they're going to take a few months or a few years probably and bring this into fruition, just under a different branding name, whatever. This is what they do, because the ideology, because remember, this is not about, it's about profit, yes, but ultimately this is an ideology, this is a religion to a certain extent to them. If you let the religion die, everything that they have done has been to shit, alongside losing profits. So what they're gonna do, rebrand it. It's like Christianity. It's like when Christianity wasn't working, it was back then. What did Christians do? They tried to make it more acceptable to everyone, in the sense of like it was cool and wear a back well, in the conservative days in the early 2000s, they try to make Jesus wear like a backward fitted cap and look cool and and then he's like skateboarding and talking like lingo and shit. I don't think that makes much sense to do, to make Jesus look cool to be appealing to kids. I think you should just leave it as is. I know that a lot of people like that type of thing, but I don't think it works. Very rad. It's like when I explained this to my mom. She didn't get this back in the day, but she now understands, and she can see what I was talking about. Uh, my mom's pretty religious, right? And she asked me a question which I didn't find annoying. I just funny. Jeebus. And then she said to me, "Why don't you listen to like Christian rap or Christian music?" Why do I have to listen to Christian rap, Christian music to get know the Jesus? That's like asking my grandpa to wear some fitted clothes and wear true religions and shit like that so I can relate to him. On God, right? So like I don't think that makes any sense. I don't think that something that is, if Jesus works as you claim, if religion works as claim, you don't need to change a thing. Leave it alone, right? It's been around for a million years. It doesn't make any difference if Jesus wore a fit cap backwards. It's not gonna make a difference, because it leads back to the same fucking thing anyway. So just repackaging it and rebranding it doesn't make sense. If 2 plus 2 equals 4, it doesn't matter if the 4 is this or not. We know it's fucking 4. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to listen to Jesus rap to understand Jesus. Once you get to that certain point in life, you will come to Jesus eventually. You will come to a Jesus moment one way or another, whether you do or don't. That's up to you. But like, you don't have to listen to a song to relate to Jesus. Or if you're a different religion, you don't have to listen to a song to it, right? If it works, it will work, right? That's how you should look at it. That's why I told her this. At first, she didn't like it very much when I said this, but I think she was listening to a preacher named what's his name? Uh, what's his name? Gino. A person named Gino. I forgot his name. Gino something. He's a black, and he was giving some type of Bible advice, and I think someone sent him a message saying, "Why don't you play like more, or get the youth to get into Christian rap and Christian rock and Christian metal?" And he said, "I don't need to do that shit. That's dumb. Why do I need to? Why do I need to morph the religion to fit your needs? Right? That doesn't make any sense. If something totally works, this, and I said the same thing. If something totally works as is without no change, it will work whether it's here or down the street. I don't need to morph it for it to go down the street. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to morph how it looks for it to go down the street. It worked normally and naturally how it was, it'll work down the street as normal, right? That's how that is. So she kind of got that, and it took a fucking YouTube video slash preacher to say the same thing I said, but she didn't see it that way because she's a young person who's speaking. But when she saw it and she listened to what he said, which is annoying, she um she actually came into it and apologized to me about getting upset at me about it. She said she understands what I was talking about. Sad, but it is what it is. Bartender effect. Can you explain that? I would like to hear that. Bartender effect. Oh, okay. Okay, it's like a bias thing. I get it. It's like, oh, if I hear it from my mom, my dad, my sister, my brother, it's just my sister, my brother, my family just talking. They just don't understand. But if I hear it from my friend, right? It's a whole different ball game. So like if I listen to my dad and say my dad said, "Oh, you're such a hothead. You always get mad so quick. Why do you get so frustrated?" All I'm hearing is my dad being an ass. Right? But if I hear it from my like so like if I listen to my friend or a girlfriend and she says the same thing, or no, a crush, let's put it that way. I put my crush and my crush said something similar to dad said, I'm gonna listen more to the crush than my dad because I have a bias against my father. Is that what that is? Is that what ultimately what that means? The bartender effect, if I'm picking up that correctly, right? Yeah, but it yes, but what luck means is like I think this is what I'm picking up. It's like a bias thing at the time of your. So it's technically a bias. Is that what that is? I'm picking that up right, or am I wrong? Because I feel like it's a bias thing. Like if all my mod says to me, if all my mod said, Jace, you need to pull back on the punches on the things you say. If all of them are saying to Mora, to Ari and Bean and even Sound and John and Mike, if they all say this, it, okay, okay. So if they're all saying it, I'm gonna see it like, oh, my mods don't know what they're talking about. They're just being biased against me. But if someone like my art teacher, say I had an art teacher, right, said the same exact thing, it'd be like, oh, maybe I'm the problem. It's like a reflection thing, but it only hits you when it's not a bias confirmation on your behalf. It's like more substantial on a natural, hey, Glass. It's more of a circumstantial situation, I guess. Huh. Yeah, so I consider something is when it's forced and not needed. Like, let's put it on like a conservative way. Like, so if I'm watching like say I'm watching I don't know, fucking I don't know, Dragon Ball Z, And for some odd reason, they say Jesus and God out of nowhere when these characters has never been mentioned at all or have any um, inkling to the universe at all. In that sense, yeah, there's gods, but we're talking about the Christian God specifically. I will find kind of woke because I'm like, what the fuck is this? This has nothing to, like, this show is not for that. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm watching, like, say, a liberal show, that's, you know, I'm watching a show like, I don't know, fucking Riverdale. Let's just use Riverdale. And they're pushing very insane topics that didn't have nothing to do with the story and slot. Yes, they have some diversity and stuff like that that falls into the story that makes sense. But when it's just some outline bullshit thing that doesn't make a heap of sense and just pushing it, I consider that woke. So it can go woke, both conservative and liberal on both ends. It's not just liberal alone. Conservative ideology can be woke in its own right as well. It's just that because if you say I'm conservative or Republican, you're already ousted by almost instantly. So it doesn't even, there's no sense of wokeness on that behalf, because as you say you're this thing, you are already enemy number one to the main audience. Oh, I hate that. I know that feeling. Hey, what's going on? I don't think that's woke. I honestly don't think it's technically woke. I don't think that's woke, but when you make a mandatory thing, that's when it gets woke, because that's when you're just taking anyone just to say that you are, and that's not genuine at all. That's why I'm not gonna listen to Christian rap or Christian rock or Christian whatever the fuck, because I'm just doing it because you told me to or you asked me to. I'm not doing it because I want to. You'll be surprised how much when people are naturally inclined to do something, they'll go far and be natural ability just to help you out or do something for you. But when you demand them to do it, this is why when I say like, subscribe, share, follow, and comment, if you like this, please hit the subscribe. But if you don't want to, that's perfectly fine. You can even hit the dislike button if you like. You don't have to press anything, right? When you give people an option like that, they'll most likely do it by the sense that they got something out of your video, whether it's information, entertainment, or something in that fact. They got something from you that get from their family or a show or something like that. So a lot of people do this a lot when they come to my stream. They like how I explain things when it comes to art stuff. So that's something that they couldn't get if they were to buy that. So that's something you should keep that in mind. So when you give people options, they feel more inclined to help you out. But when you demand them to do it, I'm looking at you, Larry Fink, and you have to force a behavior, you're gonna get a backlash like the fury of God. Hey, hey, Ari. And this is why a lot of activists don't get this. They think if we force you, therefore. I'm doing well, Muno. Thank you, and hello, Ari. I hope you're doing well. What about you, bro? This is why the new activists today, don't get this. They feel like you have to do what I say. If you don't, you're that thing, right? And if you don't follow, this is from game journalists to the war that's going on in the Middle East, and to the, what do you call it, the climate change people. They think if you become a nuisance, you'll eventually move. What that's gonna do is going to just totally go away. She's not here today. It's not gonna work. It doesn't work. What you're gonna do is make more enemies than allies. That's where the fucked up part comes in. You can't force people for your cause. You can give them a sense of reason for your cause and give them the chance to use critical think if this is going to benefit them, their family, their community, in that sense. But when you just go off and just say, "Oh, you have to do it," no, you heard the thing. She's not here today. You go off just based on you have to, therefore, nah, it's not gonna work. This is why you never tell your significant other to tell you you love them. Like, tell me you love me, because that's a trap to anyone. If whether you're a girl or a boy or what you ever fucking identify, I don't shit. When you tell your significant other, tell me you love me, it will never feel normal now in the next the time you keep doing it. It's just not real. Well, sometimes there was some propaganda stuff that was in Looney Tunes and stuff, but that if you go back in like old Disney, old Disney cartoons, they had some propaganda stuff about the Japanese and stuff in World War II at the time. So yeah, that was a thing, but it was not something that was like, I don't think it was like pushed too much, but it was pushed at one point. But it was ever, I think there's like what 3 or 4 shows that was pushing propaganda to a certain extent, both on Disney and Looney Tunes, but they're all banned and gone now. So. I wouldn't say that to that extent. I wouldn't say that full extent. You will meet an opposition when you do something like that back in those days, but it wouldn't be on the same as if today, like if you were to say, I'm for this particular, you won't get canceled. You just piss off the people in your neighborhood. And 9 times out of 10 to fix that, you can just say, I'm sorry. Back in the day, you can just say, I was sorry, that hot take wasn't cool, or whatever case may be. Maybe it was not, I said the right. Most people would just take it and moved on because it was in your neighborhood, right? You didn't have to pay, you didn't have to pay your dues to the whole internet because you made a hot take they didn't like. Because even if you said a hot take that I don't like or don't agree with, even if you said you're sorry, they're not going to believe you. So might as well not even bother. Now you can say sorry still, but don't expect everyone just to be okay with you after that. There's just some people who will stay on hatred on you because you said that one thing, and they'll never ever forgive you for it. So true. Well, I don't know about the workplace part, but they'll try fuck with you. I don't know about the violence part, but but I wouldn't put it past them. People are crazy. Just break the knee and walk away. Yes, they don't believe that. Like, let's be honest. I'm not trying to be mean to people of the rainbow flag, but let's just call for what it is. Majority of these companies are not here for you. They're just here to make a fucking profit. You are the new Christmas. That's literally what that is. Your whole flag is the Christmas. It's Christmas to them, or a holiday to sell merch. That's literally what that fucking thing is. It's turn off the orange one. It's not because they love you, care about you or stuff. They're just using the flag to get the point A to point B to make a profit. Because I think this happened a few months ago. Even in Pride, some companies said they're not going to do it because it's just too big. They said this. I think Target was one of them. Given what happened to them a year ago, or I think it was 2 years ago. I think it was a year or two ago. But like after that, they said, "Nah, we're not fucking with that." So majority of them aren't they care so much about representation or the flag or even minorities. They just need to make a profit. Once they realize they can't make a profit, once they look at their projections or their analytics or whatever the case may be and see they're not going to, as they did like the following month or the previous months or even the last year, they don't fuck with it. It is what it is. Disney did this with something Bimboya, I forgot his name, the dude who played Finn in Star Wars. They either masked him out or they made him extremely small in the poster for China. because Disney know if he was up on onto the poster, it would make less sales for them to go watch the movie, right? So what they did is they made his character more smaller into the background of the poster than what it was in the U.S. version. In the U.S. version, he's up and center with the main cast, but in the Chinese version of the poster, he is super small that you ever see him. Same thing with Black Panther. They did it with Bowman, Chadwick Boseman, Chad. Let's go. But anyway, so with his face, U.S. version, it was just his face in the Black Panther outfit, and for the Marvel movie for Black Panther. For the Chinese version, they had his face completely covered in the Black Panther mask. They don't do this because they care about minorities. They don't care this because they like flags or anything like that. Yeah, it's a show. So 9 times out of 10, they're not going to do it because they care. They do it because they're trying to make a profit. That's what a business is. So no matter how much you want to gaslight yourself so much, they say, oh, they care about my representation. They care about the seeing me. They don't give a fuck. They want to make money. If they know that if your representation makes them 33%, even beyond that, they're not fucking with it. But once they can make a little bit more, like 10% higher from last month, they'll fuck with it. That's the only thing. Once it goes under that so-called margin or that threshold, expect that money to get back. Now, that ROI, that return on investment, they ain't fucking with it. It is what it is. Yes, they just want to sell shit. Oh, they was. They do. It's gone. Hey, AF, what's going on, bro? Welcome back. And that's how the cycle goes. That was funding these nonsense. Once they listened to so-called the hypothetical Susie, with the 61/70, whatever the CEO was, or whatever high position individual executive listened to Susie, the influencer who they're trying to tap into that young audience. Once they listen to Susie, that's when they start losing money. And then when they start losing money, they go back to BlackRock or whatever company or shareholders to give them more money to make up what Susie fucked up on. And then what they'll do is, okay, Susie still has a lot of followers. She still is holding popularity somehow, even though we lost a lot of money. Maybe we should listen to her again and give her a chance again. And this is how they keep making people who fail upwards. They keep failing upwards, and they keep getting more positions. The Catholic Kennedys, that lady who's writing Star Wars, all of them, they all fail upwards. That's what this is. But because the venture capital is totally like drying up or it's gone, go back to square one and be like, you know what? Maybe in the early 2000s, the 2010s, things was better. You see the strings, yeah. No, if you have enough of a brain to understand what's going on, you know what's going on. But because of backlash and like, a certain type of wording or behavior, we have to walk around about it in a way that doesn't seem like you're attacking a specific group of people or a group of ideologues or whatever the case may be. So it is what it is. So it's a frustrating thing, but it's now that normies are getting more. So like, it's getting more prevalent for normies to see the what's going on now. What was considered, because I think what's happening, the live and let live people are dying out now, and because live and let live is what caused most of this to happen, people are coming back to fruition and being like, maybe this was not a smart idea to just let everyone have a voice, or let everyone do what they please, or let everything just go about, because now everything I say is either racist, homophobic, this, that, the third. It's attacking some indigenous person that lives so far away they will never know, but some activist young person's telling me this, right? So that's what makes this funny. So like, it's a constant attack of victimhood around everywhere, every corner, everything. Sentences is discriminatory. They did it in fucking what do you call it? The Spider-Man. They tried to change Latino, Hispanic, or Spanish, because they don't like the idea that Spanish is gendered based on male and female, and how you construct them, how it's constructed. So they bring the Latin X thing, which pisses off a lot of Latinos anyway, because that they don't fuck with that. But like, woke activist individuals comes up in here, probably white saviors in some form, tries to re-educate you to say how evil of a person you are, when really that's their culture. But the same people who are trying to savior to you is the racist person who's trying to put you in a box. So like, it's the funniest thing. It's wokeism eating itself. It's the Ouroboros tattoo eating itself. For those who know, who have watched Full Metal Alchemist, it's the snake eating its own fucking tail. Now, I'm just saying, this is not only just a liberal thing, it can also, because conservatives can end up in that same position as well. But because liberalism is more of the more dominant thing, that's why we're talking about that more. So just to give that clarification. I'm not saying that conservatives don't eat each other in their own way too. They do, but it's prevalent because it's not in the forefront as much. Only for certain groups of people that may see that a lot, who are always dealing with conservatives on a constant. But because liberalism or just progressivism is so like agenda, if they stay criminally minded, yeah, yeah, they usually do. Bad act grifters, or a case may be, bad actors, they always rear up their head one way or another. So they can't help themselves. That's why I said, to talking to I forgot who I was talking to, but like, this is why I don't really worry about the wokeism too much, because or the game journalists, because they can't help themselves. Like the whole thing that happened with Trump and the incident. You see how Destiny responded, right? When he got frustrated, he really wanted to. He let every he was on Piers Morgan, arguing with Piers Morgan how disgusting his against someone else's life just because they don't agree with him politically, right? So that right there, they can't help themselves, because the one thing that the AI has over the human is the human element, because the human element is the very thing that keeps us, well, human, but it's also our greatest weakness and strength, because our emotion gets the best of us depending on what the situation may be. So, and it's hard to always keep that in check, especially in your high tension, or you're in a very not a great place depending on what your situation is. So sometimes your emotions can get the best of you, and stuff like this happens. So I don't think that's what it is. Maybe he's a farmer who does drag stuff after he's done farming. I don't think anyone's drag queen to do farming shit. That sounds like a lot of work, and just seems very unnecessary. It's like a girl who's puts on a bunch of makeup, and they put on, like, they cake up a bunch of makeup just to go into the fields to mess with dirt and grime and shit, and to feed the animals and do the planting work and all that stuff. It doesn't make any fucking sense. I'm pretty sure there is a farmer or two who dresses in women's clothing. after dark, or a case may be, to their local drag. Something that probably does exist. I'm not going to say that doesn't exist, but to expect them to be in drag clothing in pure daylight outside doing the farm, unlikely happening. I'm just going to call it for what it is. Unpredictably. Yeah. Social creatures. It looks great. Thank you, AF. That's not by being called out. So I would not. I would not encourage that. Like, that's not respect. That just seems unnecessary. That's like saying I'm gonna go, I'm gonna go swim in a pool on. No, it's like me trying to do. I'm gonna break dance on a pole in the sky just because. I don't really insane as a metaphor, or at least for but like it's like you're being unnecessary for the sake of being necessary. It's like it's unnecessary. Unnecessary, that doesn't seem like that's worth respect. It just seems stupid. It's like purposely putting weights on yourself for the sake of putting weights on yourself just to say you did it. There's no real like understanding of that. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, okay, let's use an example. A better example is like playing Elden Ring. It's like those people who said no hit runs, right? That's impressive because in nearly everyone who's played Elden Ring has been hit at least once in the Elden Ring, whether on mistake, on purpose, or just because they're trying to see something, or they just missed the hit or missed the timing, right? That's impressive because it falls in a natural ability of not trying to get hit in the game. But when you purposely just put a bunch of caveats, you're just being an ass. Yeah, that's what it, are. People are just. I think most people are just lost and have nothing better to do. Finky and the brain. The orange one. You keep saying the orange one. The orange one. Why you keep calling him that? His name is fucking just call him Trump. No one gives a shit anymore. You're not gonna get. You're not gonna get. You're not gonna get it because you said his name. He's not fucking Voldemort. He's just orange. I honestly don't find Trump annoying. I just find him quite entertaining, to be honest. I just find him entertaining. I have no real problem with this man. I know some of you may not like that response, but I just don't find him problematic like that. I find him quite entertaining, most cases. That should have been a crossover from day one, but that because of shit like that happens, we can't take whatever people say seriously on these companies. When that dude came out of nowhere, saying what he was saying to that girl on that date from Disney, I believe everything he said. I don't think he's bullshitting. I don't think he was making any of that shit up. Like, why would he? Why would he elaborately make it up just to lose his job if he didn't know he was being recorded? That's bullshit. I believe what he said was true about the whole discriminatory thing against white men specifically, and I have a problem with that because if you can do that to white men, it eventually will happen to other minorities if they're not the majority. Remember, white men are only being discriminated because they're considered the majority of what's in power right now. But once they become not the main source of majority, or it's the next race right under them, and that's usually like Japanese people or people of East Asian people. That's the second thing, because there has been people who said that East Asian people are white adjacent. So there are some situations where it's okay to make fun of them, because they're just right under white people to a certain extent, which they have justified in their head. I remember we was listening to, I think, a Demion, and they was talking about this very thing, where because you're white adjacent, it's okay fun of you, how you look, your race, and everything, because you are more family structured. You make more money than all the other races, other than white people and all that stuff. Which I think that more Asians make more money than white people anyway. It'll be Asian people. Once all the infirm, minor, and age are gone, who will be next? Pretty much it'll be Asian people, and it'll be East Asian, then it'll be South Asian, and it'll be anyone under that, probably like Hispanic, Indigenous, and blah blah blah, whoever's at the bottom of the totem pole from that point. That's what's gonna happen. So you want to prevent that from happening, because it's just going to trickle down into more hatred and racism anyway. Like true racism, not me making a joke because it was funny and it's rooted in some form of stereotypical truth to a certain degree, and therefore that doesn't make you racist. I think it's racist when you say, "Oh, hey, Bri or Maz, we're going to fight the Mexicans 3 o'clock tomorrow at X, Y, and Z," because you're looking for a confrontation. But if you say, "Oh, you make a Hispanic joke actually funny that you heard from a comedy club from a Hispanic person," it's gonna be funny because it's what they said. You're just repeating what they said. Does that make you racist? No. But when you entail some type of form of harm on someone, that's when it becomes racist. So the whole new conversation of Brave New World. I'll hire them because they're going to make me money. That's ultimately what that is, to make me money. Now, are they going to be in drag doing it? The chances is probably not. It's a great equalizer, but also a Trojan horse at the same time. Because if you want to introduce something to people, you don't especially if it's something that is pretty insane or something that seems controversial, the best way to get them to listen or at least get them to think is to make them laugh. I think Dave Chappelle does a great job out of this, and I think Kevin Hart, but usually Dave Chappelle. He can say outrageous things that people would, or liberals or progressives will find problem. But the way he constructs his stories and how he explains it, and timing, makes it easier to listen to him because it's funny. It'll make you laugh, even if it's like considered politically incorrect or a case may be. Which I hate politically incorrect stuff because it kills fun. It kills funny. It kills everything. So. Yes, that's what I'm saying. I'll hire you on your qualifications. Now, the chance of that person being in drag at the job will be probably really unlikely, right? But maybe they say they're a drag because they do that at night. Their friends off their off time, which I don't know why that would even matter in the job in description. But like, let's just say that was part of the job subscription anyway. Even though you're not gonna come here and drag, just to know that, which is weird enough because that's like saying that my bedroom, kind of to a certain extent. Why am I letting my boss or my company know what I do in my free time that has nothing to do with the company? You should only give what entails what the company profits from, not knowing what I do. Weird. No, I wouldn't do that. I would not do that. I would not do that. What I would do is, wait, teach really quick, but what is skin tight tank top for dudes? Are the wrinkles usually placed around well, it depends on how tight. So like let's use this for example. If I didn't make this tight ish, it's more like based on how it looks. I'll say that the paint the construction of the clothing isn't the best, but let's just say this. Let's just say this was the shirt for the, not this falling off, but let's just say this was the shirt for the dude. This will be more wrapped around the waist, and there'll be a little bit of some nudges of the edge to show that it's wrapped. The show that something's tight is usually showing some type of bulge at the edges. That's what I showed you earlier on that video. So like if I made, real quick, if I made, say this is the waistline, like this will indicate that there's some type of, because of these bumps on the edges. That's it. That's fine. You can put that there. It depends on how tight you want it to be. It won't press completely through. You can put some definition on the mug. You can't just put the, because it'll just look weird. So you have to fade in a little bit. So I would put like this to a certain extent and keep gaps in that sense to show that the muscles, it's so tight that you can see the muscle, not completely. Yeah. You can't go back to when you play the fuck. This is the problem with us, and this is where I have a problem. Not with them, but like this is where what happens when you have let live type attitude. When you have let live type attitude, it's not a limiter. It's not even a gate. It's nothing. It's literally, well, I don't want to offend you, so I'm going to let you be. But what happens is when you let someone have that type of range or have that type of attitude, they'll start pushing you to see how far they can go to make you the villain. That's how it works. It's like if you let your little brother or sister do whatever they want when you're watching them. Say you're not watching, your parents put you under some type of jurisdiction to watch your little brother or sister, and you let them do whatever they want. Their brother and sister is going to take it upon themselves to push themselves. They'll do stuff like jump off the counter, be standing in places they shouldn't, messing with things that they shouldn't be, and stuff because the parents won't let them. The parents are the limiter. But once you let that limiter flow open, you let everything that's possible to happen. Now, when that kid gets hurt and under your addiction, guess who they're gonna look at? You, because once you start letting your little brother or sister do. Yeah, but like if you let your little brother or sister want, and then you finally stop them, guess what they're gonna do? Get mad at you. Now you're the villain in the situation. You're the asshole. You're the problem. Remember, you let them live. That's why the idea of shaming doesn't exist in this society anymore. It rarely ever exists. And when it's shaming, it's just because you made an politically incorrect response, not because what you're saying is true. This is what happened to Gina Carano. Right, she was not going to put bios in her, put pronouns in her bio. She got in trouble. But Pedro Pascal and Mark Ruffalo and what's his name, Mark Hamill, said very insane takes, way more insane takes than saying I'm not going to put pronouns in my bio for whatever reason. Right, politically charged shit, and they still got to work. They still get the act. They still work in Hollywood, and Gina Carano doesn't. And she's a woman. You know what I'm saying? You can't expect that was going to happen to one of them three. No. You see what I'm saying? That's the problem. When you bring insane, small aggression problems as like if it's a big attack on someone, you're going to bring an insane behavior. Going to be, you wouldn't even expect to be a problem. That's what happens when you have let live individuals run and allow everything to happen. There has to be a limit to a certain extent. You know what I'm saying? This is why this thing, for example, this I'm doing skin alone. I'm not going to be coloring this shirt. If I just color this shirt, I'm just wasting time at this point. The point is to limit myself, not to focus on the small details or anything that's not important on this drawing. Yes, and yes, her boobs are kind of like there on the seams. That's the pull you in. Let's just call it sex sells. It is what it is. But like the point of this is to focus on skin and make it as realistic as possible. That's the whole point. That's the sex sells part that comes in. But alongside that, if you look past that and see what I'm doing, you're like, oh, how do you make the skin do that? How do you make the skin look realistic? How do you make those colors work? You know what I'm saying? That's what's the whole point of this. Yeah, no, that goes so far. That saying goes so far. To do it, yes, because kids are kids. Kids are going to make childish responses and childish things. It's expected, right? I'm not saying there's a mature child who won't do stupid shit. That does exist. There are mature kids who won't do certain things that other kids won't do. But because they're a kid, you have to put a limiter on them to always expect not the same as that of adult. Even if the kid does adult things in the sense that is under matureness of not being a problem, a controversial problem, know when to speak when spoken to, know when to talk to elders in a respectful way, or the authority or whatever the case may be, those kids exist. But when you have kids who are just because he's 5, because he's 10, because he's 16, because he's 17, you know what I'm saying, doing shit like this, you make them have this type of attitude saying, I'm just a kid, I can get away with it. That's why the shows like Scared Straight don't work anymore. Because when the kids start watching the show, they start realizing these criminals can't do shit to me. Right? When they start realizing they can't do shit to me, the only thing they're gonna do is scream in my face, yell a little bit, act a little tough. That's it. Because if they ever touch me, I'm getting a check. That's what happens, right? I don't think these kids sign a NDA or anything. So like, because they're children. So like, if the officer or the prisoner does anything beyond what they was expected to do to these kids on skate. I think it was called on A&E, they're getting a check in the mail. actually quite some of these kids actually try to push these criminals to do something crazy so they can get that check. Let's call it for what it is, because they know they can't put it on the internet. They can't put it on television with a kid being harmed by a prisoner that they put in harm's way. You know what I'm saying? They're not gonna do it. So that's what these kids kind of figured out. Kids are not stupid. Kids are really smart, really, really smart. It's because the internet exists now, they are more exposed to more, right? But the problem with this, because they're exposed to more, they feel like they're adult now to say what they please. They don't even do it subtly. They do it right in your fucking face, because most of the parents don't want to, because they don't want to be seen as a mean parent. They want to be friends with their kid. You can be friends with your kid, but your kid needs to understand that there's a form of limiter that you can say to your parents, to your elders, to authority, in a manner that is respectful, but you can still get your point across, right? You don't have to be disrespectful to get your point across. You can say the same things to your parents with a certain decorum. Yes. So, and I understand there are some parents who are very unreasonable. That does exist. There are parents who listen to reason. I know they exist. Not every parent is a great parent. I know every parent is not meant to be a parent. Some parents became parents by mistake on obvious reasons, but like, you have to deal with what you're dealt with. That's just a sad state of life. Sometimes you have to learn how to deal with your parent or your guardian in the time that you're with them, right? Now, if they're abusing you, that's one thing. But if they're just rude and an asshole, they don't do anything. They may yell at you, or they may have a temper or whatever. It does exist, but you have to know when to choose your battles with your parent or your guardian, because this can last for so long, right? So when you get to a certain age, or you start working or making money, that's when you can save and then start doing your own thing and move out and stuff, that you don't have to deal with them anymore. That's what I'm saying. So that does exist. Yeah, so that's it is what it is. So you have to have that form of respect, but that only works if the parents put enough effort for that respect to stay true. If you just don't do it and then expect them to be X, Y, and Z. Oh God. That's actually more true mentally, if you believe it or not. I didn't mean for this video to be so long. But that was Clownfish TV on the DEI. John Deere, or John Deere, if I'm saying it right, ditches DEI and continues to die across corporate. So that's that. So like, subscribe, share, follow, comment. If you guys enjoyed this talk, or a case may be, I know some of you may not enjoy or agree with the things I say. You may have some angry comments. I'm expecting that to happen. But you know, it's about a form towards everyone, whether you are liberal or progressive or conservative or Republican or what case may be. So it is what it is. So like, subscribe, share, follow, comment. I hope to see you guys in the next one, and laters. Oh, and also give a follow to Clownfish, well, if you want. This will be linked in the description as well. Yeah. Okay, we have one last anti-war. Grow the world. Okay, we got one more anti video. This is from a Deviant. He just posted this no more than like 5 hours ago. So it's about the Ackman. So it says the Ackman rages as conservative ideology wins. Plus woke Sweet Baby new project implodes. So Sweet Baby, and they keep failing like usual. So Yeah, I was the same way too. Like, younger me, if I was fuck, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, I'll say like between ages like 21 down, I was more liberal than ever. Not I was pretty liberal more, but now I'm a bit more conservative in most things I say now because I can see the writing on the wall on certain things when you look at it long term. I didn't look at things long term. I looked at it as what it is right now, right? But what is the long term effects of this particular stance? Where would that go? Where would this? How would this affect my loved ones, myself, my family, my community, anyone that who comes in contact with me on that particular stance? So like, I was like that too. I was the same thing. I was the let live, let love, and Z type thinking. And then when I started realizing how much that is more of a, I wouldn't say it's a bad idea, but it's a very, it's not a great stance to stand on every situation. It's not a band-aid to everything. It works in particular situations, just like if you're liberal on some things and conservative on I think you should need a balance between things. Like if you're conservative of some things that you won't do or some things you keep more to yourself, you should be liberal on some things that are either considered old or not as problematic as it is, and just like let people do their thing, right? And then with the love and let live, it's either goes between both of them depending on what it is. It should be met with high caution, but don't use too much. It should be met minor usage as much as possible, but not so much as a run to everything, because that can ultimately, like I said earlier with the whole kid thing from the last video, it can lead to a behavior where actually make other people spoiled as shit, and then they don't know their place, and then when you try to put a limiter in some form, whether it's boundaries amongst yourself or others or just in general, they get mad at you because now you allow them to get to a point of a behavior where it could be seen as like you're fucking on their fun. You're destroying their fun. And usually it's usually someone who's young. I'm not saying it can actually happen old, but it's usually people who are young who thinks this way. So yeah, yeah, that's much what that is. That's a very insane take. Not everything. There's always that good saying. Too much of a good thing can be a bad, right? Too much of anything could be a bad thing. It could be like even bad could be bad for you at the same time. So it's like that. This fucking commercial. See, now I understand where D-Man's coming from, but I think this is just a temporary thing. I think that's gonna shift right back to what it was. It's just not a hot take, given that that might be your next president-elect. I'm pretty sure if he wasn't a president-elect and this happened after the fact, like say the president's the whole race came to an end after the fact, and someone tried to put attempt on his life, I don't companies would have put as much emphasis on banning and stopping people. Maybe some people still fight on his behalf after the fact if he won or not. Let's just say he didn't. I would just think that most companies wouldn't give a fuck. I honestly don't think they will give as much of a fuck as they do now because he could be our next president, possibly. So, they're just trying to save face, I believe, to a certain extent, so they don't look insane or look like they wanted something for the president to get hurt or the potential president-elect to get hurt, because he might keep that in his back of his mind to come after these companies later on. Hey, bro, what's going on? Hey, Paper Drag. I'm aware of the Ackman's existence. I just never watched his shit. I don't think I've ever watched his stuff. I don't think I ever actually watched his stuff, not once. I probably have, for all I know. I probably ran into it, but never noticed it. Maybe I was like drawing time, and I probably heard him talk in the background, but I never really paid attention, and it just moved to the next video. So, did you sleep last night? You said you wouldn't call me, bro, but no, I just read it out. My bad. You still are you tease? No, I got sleep. What is your I would love your opinion on that, Rye. Please tell me what's your opinion on that, Rye? Tell me. Like, is it worth watching his shit? Because I know he pissed off, I think, a few people. I think Babyface, and he pissed off Kyle. And I'm not gonna go based on just because he pissed them off, because I think that's stupid. I never really watch his stuff, so I'll give a chance to watch his stuff, even though I may not agree with some things he say or things he has done or said, but I'm pretty sure he's entertaining nonetheless. Yeah, the Starfield thing. Shit. Send me that video. I'll watch it one day. I might even do a stream, a reaction on it. Send it to me on Discord. Thanks, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like this one is pretty flat in certain areas. I will say the flatness. I'm sorry, this pause. It has nothing to do with the reaction. I'm sorry if I rewatch this, but I'm just have to point out. I think it's flat here, here, and a bit here, a little bit. I'm still having trouble with the cleavage here. I think I should get rid of the line here. I think that's what's throwing me off. I should erase the line or paint over it, and then try to make it, in that sense, to make it more realistic. Maybe if I get rid of that, it'll stop distracting me, because the cleavage is not making much sense with the shading. It feels like it's kind of like flatting out. So I'm going to erase this part and see if it makes sense. I just wanted to point that out for those who are paying attention to this. What are we talking about? Oh, rendition. You can come over here on YouTube horizontal and see what we're talking about. So if you're confused on what I'm talking, come over here. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. Donut. Yeah. Are problematic. That's new to me. I never heard. That's new. The Rosetta scientist says Dr. Matt Taylor apologize for offensive shirt. Wow. Shit. That's my first time hearing that. Have you guys heard the story before? I've never heard of this story before. This is something I would probably heard of. That's new to me. I've never heard of that before. Holy shit. So that actually happened? So he was explaining something. Have anime girls, I guess, making the Ohio face, whatever the fuck it's called, and I guess, or just a bunch of anime girls on his shirt. Fuck, that's crazy. Wow. It is okay to be a white person. I don't know how that's evil. That's evil. It's okay to be an Asian person. It's okay to be a black person. It's okay to be an indigenous person. It's okay to be a disabled person on purpose. But if you have to be born like that, or you didn't do that on purpose on yourself, so like it's okay. It's okay. Nothing's wrong with that. That's not a hot take. That's just a normal day. There's nothing wrong for being white, and there's nothing wrong being black. There's nothing wrong being Asian. There's nothing wrong being a woman. even the LGBT flag stuff, that doesn't. Okay, it's only problematic when you try to force things on people or expect them to think like you or be exactly like you or whatever the case may be. That's a problem, right? There's nothing wrong with it. If that's an evil hot take, then that's just insane. That's insane. Yeah. Green. Like, green. Because if you take your color wheel, I don't know if you can see the color wheel. I doubt it. I don't think you guys can see. No, it doesn't show you the color wheel. So if you go to your color wheel and you look at the green, they always know that green because, okay, they know that colors complement each other. To your color wheel, the giant circle around the square, and then just literally go across from what it is. Pink and green are two colors that complement one another. Hello, Zero. So pink and green, blue and red, orange and dark blue, yellow and dark blue, purple and I'll say lime green, and purple. So like these colors complement each other. So or colors that work together as a tandem is yellow, blue, yellow, orange, and red, pink, red and pink, orange, red, and pink, purple, and dark blue. So speaking of pink, wait, let me hear this. I do remember that one. I think he sent money to his cause, and a lot of stupids heard that and went after him. Most of them was kids. I'm pretty sure some of them was teenagers, even some grown folks, but most of them was kids, and they just went by what their parents told them, school told them. Ain't that funny? Ain't that the irony? The irony, right? Like, don't even learn color theory. Learn grayscale first. That's the best way to learn color theory. Learn grayscale first, then learn color, because grayscale is based on lighting, shading, and in betweens of midtones. Once you master that, the colors are just kind of like on a platter at that point. That's pretty much what it is. Hey, Zero. Like, how ironic. A show like a game or a franchise like Five Nights that is pretty liberal if you think of it in that sense. Well, not liberal, but the demographic that is into Five Nights is I would say is more on the liberal side of things, or at least progressive, right? And how all the characters like fall into that certain demographic. See, that's what that is. So like, luck is making a valid point. Like you have to do grayscale first. A lot of people jump to from drawing to color theory and get confused about a bunch of things and stuff like that. I would suggest learn grayscale first. That's what I did. I was just as stubborn as everyone else. I didn't do color theory. I did color theory first and everything backwards and got frustrated. This is why we're here now, because now I did color theory. I have a better understanding of form, and I can see things for being like I said it earlier. Like I circled these circles here. because I can see that it's not 3D, it's not flat, it's flat. And there's a shading problem and a lighting problem. That's what it is. It's not a color problem, it's a shading problem. So we need to shade much more effectively. Yeah, it's too many variables at once. What shading does, it helps keep the variables at bay, or at least it limits the variables as or it limits the idea of mistakes more easily. No, no. You have to learn. You have to learn grayscale because everything from your reds, your blues, and everything. It's funny because if you take every and slap it together, it'll be black, right? Or white, depending on how you mix them. But like it ultimately goes back to black or to white, depending on what it is. So, focus on objects. Yes. Well, that's more of composition, but like if you're doing photography, it's those things. But I think the main focus between when it comes to photography, it's mainly the idea of composition. Mostly, like if you're using the rule of thirds, the Fucci method, or I think the Fucci method, or the golden ratio. I think it's referred to. Um, there's so many different compositions you can use to make things seem much more interesting than it should. I tell my students, whenever you're drawing a drawing, right? Especially if it's like a static drawing, don't just draw the characters static. If you're gonna draw them static, change the camera position. So that means if I'm drawing my character standing, putting their hands on their hips, instead of just making them stand from a distance and putting their hands on their hips, move the camera and draw them from a top-down perspective with their hands on their hips. Sorry about that. Yeah, hopefully you're not doing traditional, then you can't really pull it back too much. So if you're digital, then you can probably fix it, but it's gonna take some time, but you know. I'm not gonna lie, I don't think anyone's going, I don't think in my head anyone's really excited for the Borderlands movie. Hmm, I see. Hey Caleb, welcome back. And the irony of that, of all that situation with the kid and the sports paint on his face, the kid was Native American. I think he was half Native American or part Native American. I believe he was half. That was the most ironic part about it, given the team was basically based on Native American culture, right? Well, the logo, and he dressed up as them. And what that news article did not know, that not only that because they went by him resembling white, but not knowing if he was white, and even if he wasn't doing it to be rude to anyone. He was cheering on his favorite team. Everyone does it. For almost so centuries, they've been putting like paint mask on their face to represent their own favorite team. This is not unheard of. You know what I'm saying? So that studio got, I think they lost everything. I think it shut down after that. Um I don't know if the father literally like sued them out of the, I think he was a lawyer, I believe. But like it was funny as shit. It was some black guy who made the article anyway. He felt so strongly about this kid being canceled that he didn't know that American. So that was the funniest part. and he lost everything. He was a stupid idiot for doing that shit to a kid. Ah! I just said it. You see what I'm saying? This is what happens by diversity, equity, inclusion, the DEI, and this shit becomes a real parasite and start eating itself. They don't put the due diligence on themselves. They put the due diligence on you when they feel like you're the villain. Without no mask? Yeah, I remember that. Damn. A Devion came with the receipts. Bro came with receipts. How do you draw so good? Practice. Practice. What you're witnessing is my practice. This is me practicing and trying to get good at doing skin because I was working doing skin for males and females, so I was trying to understand how it works. We did this yesterday, and this came out pretty good, but it has problems here, particularly. But like, this is, I think this did best one, so I'm trying to recreate that very thing here, but I can see some fitness and some problems with it. So I'm trying to get good at doing that. But thank you, I appreciate it. Already. I think a Demon's I get what he's coming from, but I think a Demon is shooting the gun a little bit too early there. Just because I'm in trouble from taking hot takes against conservative situations, I don't think it's at the point where you can say that yet. I think it's just could be just coincidental to a certain extent, but I wouldn't say just there's a tide turning jet. There has to be some like the Trump thing was pretty there. I'm not gonna lie. What happened several days ago, but like, was it several days? I think it was several days, almost a week now. No, it's been several days, I believe. But I don't think to say that there's a giant tide turning because that has to be universal among only the media, just everything. It has to go. It has to go. It has to show a certain type of decorum amongst um, the citizens of also the meta the media, entertainment. You know what I'm saying? New name, same chicken. Yeah. So like, I don't know. Like, I don't think we're there yet because this is just a few instances that happened, and I put it in the prospect that the only reason why the Trump thing is being at least putting light on for those who are making hot takes that are considered disparaging is only because he's not president president elect yet. Because most of these companies are under that understanding that he's not president yet, and they're not sure if he ever will be president again. So it makes more sense to like not push that narrative too much or have that narrative be pushed, because if he becomes president elect, we are fucked. I mean, like we're fucked as a company, not as a country, but I'm just saying like as a company who people to say insane shit and didn't think it was a problem with it because we didn't like him. You know what I'm saying? Um, you know. This is so hard. Yes, you should always limit it. You should limit yourself on the emotions and look at things logically and objectively as possible. Because if you start looking through like an emotional lens, that's where you start making very poor judgments and make very biases, and it can lead to a behavior that you're not going to like or make people distrust you because you're being like like it. I understand playing to trying to be in no man's land is hard, but you sometimes have to take a side on what it is and for what it is, and look at it for the long term, not look at it for the short term because it's gonna hurt someone's feelings. Like, you know, it's like you gotta look at it in that sense. I can agree on that. No. No. I like that. No, actually, logic now equals Yahtzee. I still think you should be on the fence. I still think with that whole response of like things are changing, I think that should be, and that's a wait and see type of response. I think that's a wait and see type thing, because if you're just because a few things went doesn't mean that it's going to go down that way every time or most cases. This is probably one of those instances where it's just coincidental. Okay, so pretty much that is a Demion and the whole Ackman situation. So that's cool. So like, subscribe, share, follow, comment. Go check out Demion if you like. I do like his stuff and all that stuff. I'll try to diversify more with other people with different opinions other than Demion all the time and like the other same people listen to. It's only fair if I play it that way instead of always picking the same people with the same type of outtakes. It's sometimes good to listen to a opposing side and see what their and it has to fall into the idea either anime or entertainment, like movies and video games. It's not gonna be like political stuff, like off the bat conservative stuff. Like they'll fall into that, but like it's not gonna be that like we're looking for like Donald Trump or anything like that, or Biden or whatever the fuck. No, like it has to be under the gaze of like entertainment, movies, video games, or anime or art. So like it has to be those four things. If it's not, then I don't fuck with it. I don't bother. So with that said, I'll see you in the next one. Thank you, and later. Okay, guys, we finally finished all the anti-woke stuff. That was only 2 anti-woke stuff, but they usually take the longest. Now, this is something that I saw today, and it came out 2 days ago. This is from the Canadian guy. I'm not familiar with him at all. Never watched him before, and I saw the thumbnail, and I thought the thumbnail would look interesting, and I saw the title. It says, "The Truth Behind Crash Bandicoot 5's Cancellation." So I didn't know that Crash Bandicoot was even... I know they made a game recently, but I didn't know they canceled it. I guess Bob's Toys canceled for weird reasons. So it'll be kind of interesting to hear about this, since I love Crash and I grew up with Crash growing up as a kid, from the first game on PlayStation all the way to now. So it'll be interesting. I know we gotta knock these out. We have to knock these out. So I'll start the game in a bit. This won't be long, I promise. So let's play this and get into the crux of this. So what's this is about? It might be a bunch of hoo-ha, but it might be fun to enjoy. So it's only 10 minutes. Hmm. I don't know. I'll have to talk to my team on that, but we'll have to agree on I like letting my team know what I'm doing, so like, we'll have to talk about that. I'll see if I if that'll become beneficial on my behalf. We'll see. If that, I'll check out her stuff and stuff when I get the chance. Since you say Thursday, so I have a limited time. I'll check it out, see if it's for me. If it's not, then. But if it is, then I'll let my team know. They're here. Some of them are listening, so like we'll talk about it in Discord. Someone will have our meeting. Highly canceled rumor. No, it's perfectly fine. You're perfectly fine. I understand. A lot of people say that type of stuff to me a lot. A fan of both of you. Oh, thank you. But I'll check her out, I promise. Send just to even make it more apparent. Send me her channel or her videos to me on Discord if you're part of Discord luck. Just let me know, and I'll check it out. So why did they cancel it? Freeze. Or if you don't have, hopefully you probably have Instagram or even TikTok. I don't think TikTok allows you to send links, but if you have Instagram, you can send on if you have it. I have a feeling you don't, but then again, I'm gonna assume that if you do, please send it to me on Instagram, please. Okay. No, because I'm too busy doing other things, so I'd rather them just send it to me, and then when the day's over, I can just like, okay, let me look through whatever people sent me. This is why with Ari, she asked me with the artwork thing, and she now knows the rules now, and I think even you now that I don't do it online anymore on stream because it causes too much of a disruption. So whenever someone comes to me and asks me for any help, I send them a video, and better because like they can always refer back to the video on what I said, so they don't have to go based on stream or have to go back to the stream to watch the whole thing just to find that one piece. So I think that makes it easier on the subscriber. If they have a problem with something specific, I can just make them a video and tell them what to focus on, and they can study that video over and over again. And then if they get confused, I can make another video and send it to them. So, and usually they're usually short, so they don't feel like it's a long, dragged on explanation. So I try to make it and condense it in a way that it makes it easier for the student to understand. And it puts me in a position where I can make the explanation short enough and to the point, not a long-winded response. That's something I tend to do. I'm trying to work on that. So it's a great way to engage with the student to also get what they want, so they don't have to sit there and wait till I'm done doing a drawing or a case may be. So it caters to both worlds. So what they want, I give them what they want. They still stay around. They stay on the subscription. Yeah, usually because I assume that most people have Discord. So like a lot of people ask for the Discord anyway, and engage with me on Discord. I try to limit it to a certain extent, but like because I try to keep it just about the art. If they want to say hi, I'll keep the conversation really cordial, but I usually go back to the art stuff because um it's more because that's the whole point of me. So okay, so just send me her name and I'll check it out later. Just write her name in the chat and I'll copy and paste and look at it later. Whatever happened to Dalton's? All right, just send me the name. Just write her name in the, and I'll just copy and paste in the chat. Okay. Silly Sandy AJ. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, that was a weird one. I'm not gonna lie. The Crash Team Rumble thing, it was like a party game battle royale thing with Crash character. Odd. I don't think anyone sat there and asked for something like that. I think everyone just wanted Crash 5. That was the weirdest thing. I remember that was announced at like what was it, the Game Awards like 2 years ago or some shit on with Healy. It was the weirdest fucking thing. Like I was like, okay, I get it, but I don't get it. Like I get it because it's Crash Bandicoot, and it's not like Crash didn't have party games before. It's just like it was not something that people were asking for. If anyone wants a Crash party game, it would have been another Crash go kart game. I think a lot of people will be wanting a sequel to that, because they did make of the Crash go-kart game. But I think people would have been okay with that. They'll be annoyed, but I don't think they would have been as been annoyed. I know I was annoyed when I saw that because I was like, oh, like why is Crash not getting another? Like, why? Like it's a party game. Like no one, like fuck. Like I don't think anyone was like clamoring for that at all. Nah. Hello. We are boo. We are boo. Yeah, we. Hey guys. Hey Angelo. Okay. God, this is so hard. Okay. Mm. Oh no, I'm pretty good. So this was the Canadian guy. I think that's his whole name on this thing. Canadian guy A. Okay, Canadian guy A. Sorry about that with the EH at the end. So this was interesting. Not that mind-blowing or anything, but interesting nonetheless about the Crash thing, because I do love Crash. I think most of us do, or most of us are at least familiar with Crash. I grew up with him in some form, or at least played one of Crash's games. But you know, it's kind of sad that the game got canceled, but I don't think that's the end of Crash. There's going to be another company that will take up the mantle eventually, whether it be Bob's Boys or something completely different. Hopefully it won't be too different to the point that they kind of did to Crash with the whole back in what, 2012, 2013 Crash, I believe, if you know what I'm talking about. It wasn't a game, it was just different. Made Crash look really insane, but it is what it is. So with that said, like, subscribe, share, follow, comment. Hope you guys enjoy this and all that great stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next one. And give a follow to Canadian guy A. So yeah. Okay, we're on the final video, and then we can go. Let me see. I'm Asian. And, oh, cool. That's awesome. Oh, well, I don't think it's like such a unique mix, but I don't hear a lot of Asians watching my stream, so that's kind of cool. Now, guys, the moment of truth. Now we have what came out just how many hours was it? It came out 6 hours ago as a reaction. So we're gonna watch the Overwatch hero called Juno. Juno's here. She has been announced. She's at Space Marine. I guess she's a healer. Sort of gameplay of this. So those of you who want to see the video of Juno in action for her debut, come over here on YouTube Shorts. Great stuff. So we're gonna play it. The video's only 1 minute and 57 minutes long. After that, we're gonna go play Zenless. So let's play this right now. Let's go. All right, do your thing. All right, let's get this going. You too, Mo. Nice. Glide boost. Oh, she can float like Mercy. She can kick. Oh shit. Oh bro. So they mixed the idea of Kirito what's her name? Kiriko and a little bit of, I wouldn't say Mora when the healing, but it's oh no. They mix between Kiriko and Lifeweaver, because he has that homing ability where he can heal, but he can heal and attack at the same time with this. I'm pretty sure that's not going to be our primary. That's going to be like our secondary or something. Is this our ultimate? Orbital Ray. That must be the ultimate. So wait, let me get this straight. The ultimate, I'm assuming what the ultimate does. Kiriko, yeah. Kiriko. I almost got Kirito from Solar Art Line. So like, what I'm assuming here, how her ultimate works, she shoots like a hammer of dawn, like from Gears. It hits the floor, and I guess it gives 2 healing and probably like attack buff for like a couple seconds to like probably 10 seconds at best. So it's kind of like like a mix between, I guess, if this is what I'm assuming, and that works. I didn't see we saw gameplay, but this one's more speculation based on how it's presented. So like, I'm assuming that the way she moved, or the way the ultimate works, it gives both buff and healing at the same time. So it's between Lifeweaver's healing with the giant tree, or like I don't think the same as Zen's, but she also gives buff like Mercy. So when Mercy uses her ultimate, and you hold like I think right bumper, depending if you're using the Xbox remote. Let's just say you're using the Xbox remote because I use that a lot. You give buff, so it's kind of like that because it looks like in the video it looks like a mix between blue and yellow. So I mean, that's what it does. So it hits the floor and gives everyone like a buff. No, I know. It seemed like I was saying Artextric when it was Kiriko. Begins honest. That's in 2 days. She's cute. She's a cute design. Very cute design. She has Overwatch colors on. That's really cute. Let me see. Before we play Zenless, I want to see. I'm gonna connect this to both. I'm gonna put in this same video. So like, this is the Master Ian Gamer. I guess he's gonna give us more of a so like it's. Let me see. Ooh, we might do that tomorrow. We might do that tomorrow. We might play over tomorrow just for that. And I'm not banned anymore, so let's go. Cutesy. Very cutesy. So she's kind of like a mix between Lifeweaver in some ways, Kiriko in some ways, and maybe Echo because it moves similarly in that sense. So like, yeah, we'll do that tomorrow. We'll play this tomorrow. I bet you someone on Twitter on the Bird app is going to complain about her design in some way, some form. She's too cute. She's this. She's too that. Make her ugly. Oh, so you can shoot up. Oh shit! I didn't see that part. Holy shit! I didn't do that. I didn't know she can heal and attack as a primary fire. Okay, so it is like Ana. So she's a mix of Ana, Lifeweaver, Echo, and I guess depending on ultimate as you look at it, it's like kind of like a Mercy in that sense of the buff, and then also like who has like a crowd control type ultimate when it comes to healing. I might like playing as her. We might see. I really hope she's good to use. Yeah, it seems that way. Oh shit! Zen? She's Zen with the kicks? She got them legs though. She got them legs. It'll be kind of hard. It would be kind of like not believable if she's floating around and she ain't throwing some kicks. You know what I'm saying? Fellas, man of culture. If you're a man of culture, you know what I'm talking about. You got them legs. You know I'm sucking for them legs too. Come on. If that's her primary, I'm gonna love playing as her kicking motherfuckers in the face. This is literally, I don't know. This one, this ultimate feels kind of weird because it just feels like Kiriko. Because the way she's like an Asian character based on just looks alone. So it's just like Kiriko, but just in space to a certain. Well, not Kiriko all the way, but like you know what I'm saying. Or maybe what it does, it not only gives you speed, but it also makes you lighter. That's probably what it does because her whole thing is gravity. So that probably is the thing we didn't notice. We only saw it, but maybe that's how it works. So like when you jump, you are less, you're much more lighter, and it's much more grip on using the movements like that. Maybe that's how it works. Yeah, it seems that way. Like buff and yellow. Yep, that's why I saw it. Gradually, because the closer you are, the more you get the heals and more of the buff. That's why it moves. Because if it hit just the floor and just gives people the same on the enemy team or the team that you're on, it wouldn't make more sense if it just kind of hits the ground and it moves. Just feels like a big, I don't know. Maybe the closer you are towards it, the more damage and healing you get, or it might weaken other people. They don't hurt them, but it weakens their damage and it negates their healing. I'd really doubt that, but it might make their damage less on the enemy team. So it has some form of effect on the enemy team, but that might be a bit overpowered on that behalf. Maybe depending on who you're asking, but. So a mix of between Genji's double, Mercy's floating, or probably even Echo. So that's 3 characters in one particular movement. God damn. So she has 3 characters in one particular movement. She has a homing attack to a certain extent. Like when it comes to healing, it's like Life Weaver, and then like Symmetra. But I think that only works at a. I think that homing thing only works if you're a certain distance. I don't think it just works instantly as you press it and it goes to anyone. I think you're in range for it to have its effect, whether it's next to your teammates or to your the enemy team. To me, that's what it seems to be. That's why she was super close, and they made sure that the hit got hit. It'd be like a range thing, just like you said with Symmetra back in the day when her attack was just literally it locks onto you from a certain range. So when you got pretty close to a Symmetra, you was kind of fucked at that point. It only depended on how well you dodged at Symmetra point, I believe. But yeah, she's a mix of a bunch of heroes. She's like 7 heroes in one, and in specific situations given her kit. So like she's Kiriko, she's Life Weaver, she has Symmetra, she has floating, which is Mercy, she has double jump as Genji, she has Echo with the movements and the or floating like Mercy, but she has the movement like Echo when flying. Now I don't know how fast the flying is on us to a certain extent. Not on us. Her name. Farah. So it could be similar to that, but I really doubt it. But it is what it is. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. I doubt it. I doubt it. Because if she did, if she can stay in the air for that long, then a lot of Pharaohs will be fucked. Especially if your aim is really good. If your aim is really good and the way her weapon works, it doesn't really. Yes, it is actually. I'm trying my best here. All right, with that said, like, share, comment. Go follow Master Eon Gamer. I'll also put Play Overwatch in the description, so that's 2 different creators. But the first one, just Overwatch. It's the Overwatch, I think, official YouTube channel. So I don't think anyone cares about following that. But if you want to follow Master Eon Gamer, go ahead. That'd be really cool if you guys did. Like, share, comment. Also follow me on Twitter and all the other platforms in the description at the bottom. We're pretty much done at this point. I still need to work better on my. I think I have a real problem rounding off the breasts. It's getting hard for me to, without putting too much shading. I think I have to know how to manage that better. But I'll eventually get this. I'm getting it as we go, but it has its problems compared to the last time. Tomorrow I'll be paint Goodfella here, so look out for that. So you guys can't say, oh, you're only painting women for their sex appeal. No, I also do men as well. I draw men as well. So tomorrow I'll be shit guy on TikTok, because I know TikTok ain't gonna have a fucking problem when I'm doing or drawing dudes on my art. For some odd reason, I can draw them almost pretty much naked on TikTok and no one says anything. But when I draw a woman, even a mannequin, oh god, we're all gonna die. So with that said, I'll see you guys in the next one. We're gonna go play Zenless Zone Zero. I'm gonna play it on YouTube, Twitch, and YouTube Shorts, and all that great stuff. So we're gonna go play Zenless. So if you guys are I'm gonna end the stream. I'll be back in 5 to 10 minutes and get everything set up. So yeah, I'm gonna be painting this guy. It depends. So we're gonna do this tomorrow. So we're gonna see how that comes out. I did this for Ari, so I took this upon myself to paint him just to see if I can do it. And we have our friends right here, so they'll be fun. So with that said, I'll see you guys in a few minutes. We're gonna play some Zen. Follow me on my Discord, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, all the works. You know how that goes in the descriptions, YouTube Shorts, and all that great stuff. So with that said, I'll be right back, guys. All right, I'm out. I'll be right back.